was packing. So I am not caught up.
All right. Well, that's okay, because this is something that we can look at almost every day. It's thriving in crisis.
There you go.
So I think that the ability to just remain calm, right? That's what the chapter part of what it's telling as a business owner, as a business leader, or just even if you're just a leader in your organization, right? It's your ability to stay calm in a crisis, right? That helps build the confidence that there is a way out. Because we all know, like, that once you're panicking, you're no longer thinking, right? You're just clawing and scratching and trying to get out, right? It's kind of the burning theater thing, right? Somebody else fire and you're panicked, then you're probably be one of the people that get trampled. So, but yeah, I think his ability to go through the checklist, it says, am I okay? Is my family okay? Are my friends okay? Are those I'm responsible for okay? How much time do I have to act? And do I know a trusted resource, right? And the network effect for him, the collaboration is always, a real big key to his success, right? He thinks through, like, who do I know who's been through one of these before, right? Whether it's a COVID or, trade war or some other disaster where they had a company that they wrote it out and they were able to, to succeed. And in a lot of ways, he talks about the 10X health. They were actually able to thrive during this time because, the doctors had to be able to visit over the web. Like that whole in office visit thing was like, only a last resort. So, right, different perspectives.
Yep. On the page out that the checklist, super awesome. And I think that some of this comes, so let's look at that real quick. A lot of this comes out of meditation in a way. There's some really like parallel thought processes here, like knowing that you're alive, like just it's kind of like being present, being, acknowledging what like grounding yourself. That's kind of what this reminded me of.
Yeah.
And then on the next page, he talks about keep in mind making any decision in a state of fear or shock or making no decisions at all can create negative momentum. That no decisions at all. Jared's talked about this from his military training. I think the guys in extreme ownership talk about it, like do something, and that's kind of where you find yourself, or I do sometimes we all do, I guess, in construction. You've got to just keep piercing through the resistance and making progress. And when you do that, if there's a extreme sense of relief just checking off one of those boxes, making a list and starting to cross off the little things. Like I always do this. I put little boxes next to stuff and then checking them off makes me feel good, Yeah, it's nice to be able to do that by
Is
hand.
that a military thing? My father used to do the same thing every single morning.
Maybe, I don't know. It just, my mom did it. She's like a list maker and so I just started doing it, When I don't, I forget stuff.
Yeah.
And it slips. So.
Yeah.
I think he talks about how the instinct is to go to friends and family or other professionals and ask them what to do, but unless they've already been through what you're going through, they don't really have any expert advice, right? They're going to tell you things to make you feel better,
Yeah,
you know, because that's what friends and family do.
yeah,
But you know, he says it's critical to find somebody who's gone through the same circumstances that you're facing, and most importantly, one, right? Like, how did that person face the same challenges you faced, and then restructure, reorganize, or refocus, and then come out the other side better off.
yep.
Um, he talks a lot about context and contrast, and it's something that I still don't fully grasp when he talks about it. He talks about, you know, context being the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and the terms in which it can be fully understood and addressed. In contrast, the state of being strikingly different from something else in juxtaposition or close association. Talks a lot about context and contrast, and I don't 100% understand the contrast. Context, I think I get better, but contrast is something that I still need to learn more about, because he talks a lot about those two perspectives. So, yeah, this was a very poignant chapter for me this week. So it's a lot going on in here.
I remember that word juxtaposition in 10th grade English. We studied the shit out of it, and I just was like, remember it just, I didn't want to learn about that stuff, and that word never gone away, and I still kind of know what it means, but I just remember we did a whole segment on that. But it does have to do with contrast. And on the next page, why a crisis conceals an opportunity. We've talked a lot about this in a certain way, where we will not get a job. I mean, we're becoming pretty insulated from the letdown, right? You've had it, I think, since we started, because you've been doing this for a long time. Like, what my background, we own the land, so we weren't competing for jobs at Barry Swenson. We just built the work, right? So coming in here and bidding all this work with you, when we started going hard, it's like a lot of up and down, but over the time, you know, we started to get a little bit numb to it, and in a good way, I think, and finding the opportunities that come out of these lost jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like Victor with Oakmount, making new connections with new vendors, you know, and increasing the network, getting our name known by big builders, and generating attention. There's always something that comes out of running through the exercise, you know?
Yeah, they're never a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's part of the process. You're never going to get everything, but every interaction creates more interactions, builds, you know, relationships with people, you know, even if you're not getting the work, you know, like Deacon, right? I mean, we've probably bid 15 jobs with Deacon. We haven't gotten one yet, but they keep sending us work.
Yeah.
You know, and eventually, and I think you've got a couple of guys over at Deacon now that you're actually like in communication with, kind of on a regular, right?
Yeah, I mean, they answer the phone when I call, which is a pretty big step, because at the beginning, you just kind of don't hear back from them, and you just got to keep calling them, you know? You bugging them,
Yeah.
texting, email, social media.
Yeah, I mean that's ties in with the sales side of it. You just got to be consistent and continue to knock on that door because eventually they're going to start opening up the door. They're going to say, "Oh, hey, he's showing up again. I like that," and able to just provide that for them, and they continue to open up the door and send you work, and eventually they're going to get you on a project.
Yeah, and at the very least, even if you can't see what came out of it, just consider the hours you put into it as a commitment into the 10,000 hours to mastery, or whatever you want to call it. You're getting closer and better in general, and
Yeah.
faster and more efficient. The next one will be easier. Even if you just say, like, at the very baseline, now you have, for us, we have that estimate in our software that if we see a similar job, we can copy that over and be that much further ahead on a similar type job. So, but at the beginning of a complex and different type of estimate, it's like, oh, we're gonna have to build this one from relative scratch. But the next time we do something like that, we've got database numbers in there, we price the material, we kind of have, it gets quicker and quicker. Like the second time I built the same Lego set, it always went faster when I was little.
Yeah.
And I did that a lot because I like to break them.
Put them back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to break a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The case story was a good one this week because it talked about an equipment repair business and how they handled the pandemic. And it was they're one of the early ones to the Cardone Ventures family, and they got that one-on-one time with Brandon to walk them through, how to handle the situation. And one of the things that they talked about was the employee turnover, right? And they had a lot of employees, but they didn't really have alignment with all those employees. And they found through going through the PPF goals and some other discussions, they figured out that there was team members that just didn't align with them. And when they made the hard decision to let those people go, it actually accelerated the rest of their business because they were able to, the rest of the team was able to not just pick up the slack, but also, let's say, accelerate it, right? Because there wasn't any dead weight around. And it's not to say that those are bad people. Sometimes it's just a bad fit, or they just don't have that gumption that you need when you're trying to operate at levels that are higher than your ability. So, we defend our culture here relentlessly, right? And the most important thing for us is to make sure the people that we bring in here and they're going to spend every day with are just as committed as we are to making this work. And I thought that was a good way for them to kind of end that story on, hey, it's not always easy, right? Being the boss is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be a challenge, but how you handle things affects the trajectory of your team, right? So if you stay calm, they stay calm. You freak out, they freak out. If you ignore problems, they ignore problems. So at the end of the day, it always comes back to the leader, right? How good of a leader are you? And do you have the capacity to take the team beyond where you've been? And, do you have the stomach for it? because it's not easy. So I was kind of proud of myself because I think I do a pretty good job staying calm in a crisis. Most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Still human. So, well, we don't have everybody this week, so maybe we'll wait till next week to pick the next book. But Allison, do you have the list?
I'll go with whatever the majority wants, honestly. I don't, whatever you guys feel like we should do, so I'm cool with, you know.
Of the options pose or something that's making me go like, oh, I need to do that one. That one.
I think I'm recalling people liking the atomic habit.
I just finished that one, but we can do it again.
That's a good one.
It's good and short. I mean, it's like pretty like laid out, and it's pretty important.
So you and Scotty liked the atomic habit.
Yeah, I think it's like on 1.3 speed. It's like a 4-hour book or something like that.
The other one was buy back your time.
Oh, that's good too.
Have you read the 4-Hour Work Week?
Yeah.
I had a boss tell me about that one a long time ago. I did a quick search on it. I don't know if it's super relevant to us, but I think it's a lot about time management
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But Davis liked the buy back your time. I'd say it's between those two. 4-Hour Work Week. I've heard of that. I'm good with either one.
Okay. I think I'm trying to see if we have a text chain going back here at some point.
I think
But
it was an email chain, right?
Yeah, email. I was gonna see if Mike did anything.
all right, I'm leaning towards Atomic Habits. Buy Back Your Time is another great book, but I'm leaning towards Atomic Habits. So let's we'll just do a little email this week, and we'll vote between those two. And I'm with Aaron. Whichever one gets the most, just go with it. They're all good books. Book club will be around for a long time, so
Yeah.
we'll get to them. We'll get to them all.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty, thank you for joining today. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me as always. And we'll keep pushing forward.
Push it, don't quit.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, buddy.
Have a
Later.
good one, guys.